host, Allan Robertson. With us today is Isaac Ching, Ben McNeil. Unfortunately, Tim couldn't be with us today, but I think we'll keep trucking on.
Right on. So we're still, are we still just introducing each other, or are we going to start doing like the introductions for ourselves?
It's a good question.
Well, we'll figure that out as we go. We're still trying to learn this whole process.
But this is the first official episode of the Bait Shop,
Yeah.
and we're actually calling it the right name this time.
Yeah.
This podcast brought to you by the Fiddlin' Salmon. Come on down to the lake, boys, and we'll get you some red lobsters on the go, boys.
I love these fake ads.
So I'm gonna share the Fiddlin' Salmon, and
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, so how was your boys' week?
It's been a little bit busy. I'm moving out of my apartment in Charlottetown. Moving back to Surrey. You know how hectic moving could be. I hate it. I just hate moving.
So are you renting like a truck to move stuff, or are you just kind of getting people to help, or what's the deal?
Yeah, my brother, he's got a truck and trailer and everything. Unfortunately, the problem is the lights aren't working on the trailer right now.
Ooh, that's right.
So I'm just gonna follow him in my car. Hopefully it'll be all right. Just stay close to him. Didn't realize how much it sucks moving out of an apartment. Like, I've moved out of houses and other things like this before, but the apartment's up on the 4th floor. And what sucks about it is, like, you know, I like to clean the place up right good. You can't really take everything out and, like, put it in the hallway or just put it right on the truck. I had to pretty well just, like, take everything, put it in the kitchen, clean up the living room, take all that stuff, and then put it back, and then put it all in the living room. I don't know. It was just a lot of moving stuff around. There's probably a more efficient way of doing it, but that's the best way I figured out how to do it.
Yeah. I've moved about 5 times when I was like in school. And I think 4 of those 5 times I was injured, so mom and dad ended up doing most of the moving, if not all of it.
That's what I should have done. I mean, there's still time.
Yeah, that's fair. What about you, Isaac? What have you been up this week?
the other night I opened a beer with. I found you could open a beer with a twist off with your butt cheek.
With your what? With your what?
With your butt cheek. You only need one.
No.
You only need one. Well, you got 2. So how'd you do that?
Man.
It's not that hard. You just I was kind of bored.
You must have been bored, yeah.
heard her crack open. I said, yeah, did her.
I think you skipped a few details there. I really want to break this down.
No one won't ever call you. They won't say you were an innovator.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean, what are people gonna do if they don't have any hands? I mean.
Oh my god. Well, I'd give them a hand, but
Shit.
but did you do it like you normally would? What is it when you put it in your elbow and then you close your arm and spin it, or did you just like stick it between your 2 cheeks and start spinning?
You could try.
That's weird.
You could try either way.
I want to know what way you tried.
If you got like really firm muscles, you could probably, just get them in between the 2.
You seem to be dodging around the question, bro.
Well, no. What you do is you just you apply some pressure, and you start spinning.
Where? Oh no, that's weird, man.
No, you can do it. You can do it on your wrist pretty good.
I think
you just gotta press it in, and it'll twist the skin, and then it'll grip the bottle, and it'll crack off.
Okay,
Painting a weird picture, like you said.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think it was that weird.
Start
People are
spitting.
fucking going at bottles with their eye sockets and their teeth. I'm like, I didn't think it was that fucking weird.
I will say the teeth part is very cringeworthy when I see someone doing that. I'm like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Gosh.
I think the coolest way to open a bottle with your body is
He's just looking at it and it just pops off.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Telepathy.
Well, when do you ever see someone stick it in their belly button? It's like, yeah, you work out. I try that, I'll lose it.
So like you probably just like pushed into like the side and then twisted.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that now.
It's kind of fun once you get the hang of it.
Make a night of it.
Right on.
Kind of fun.
Make a night of it.
I'm an inventor, you know. It's,
Yeah.
you just got to use that brain.
Figure those way out, yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of weird.
Okay, well, I mean,
Really weird.
say you did it and all that stuff, you know.
I wouldn't. If I did it, I wouldn't say I did it.
Well, who wants to? Well, who wants to open up? Who wants to like be that guy who just uses their hands to open up stuff? Like, I mean, where's the
I'm an idiot,
imagination? Like, well, I mean, come on now. Like, it's.
yeah. So what are you doing? You're just watching TV. I was like, what's the weirdest way I can open this bottle?
Yeah. I mean, why not? It was kind of fun.
You can do it with your toes and eventually just evolve to the point where you have monkey hands on your feet. That'd be great.
Don't
Just
wear-
like,
Fuck yeah. Start growing hairs on your feet and just don't wear socks anymore, you know? Yeah.
or just get like hobbit feet so you can.
Hobbit feet, yeah.
You'll never have to wear shoes again. It'd be great.
I remember years ago, me and someone else, we were visiting my cousin out in Moncton. And none of it, like, we were still young enough. Nobody knew the whole lighter trick or how to really open a bottle, any way, shape, or form. And this one girl, she went up to us, like, can you guys open this for us? And we look at each other, like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, we do this all the time. We're scrambling, we're trying to figure out a way. The way we end up doing it, we found this, like, huge 2x4. Must have been, like, let's say 8 or 10 feet long. And he's holding the bottle in one hand and holding the other end of the 2x4. Meanwhile, I'm at the other end of the 2x4 trying to pry. And that's all we figured out how to do it, but we got the job done. I mean, kept us sober because, you know, it was hard to open up the bottles.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like how, like, whenever you're a kid, you have like a beer finally and you're in this like workshop and you're just trying to open it? Just there, like, smashing it off the workbench and shit like that. And just, you know,
Well,
a pair of vice grips on her, just trying to pry her off.
yeah.
And then you stick it in your cheeks and it's all good.
Yeah,
apparently.
someone had to do it.
Well, did you ever see the ones on freaking like Johnny Knoxville and them on Jackass when they had to do the high speed ones where like they get a race car to go down this freaking long ass track and then they tie like a little string to the top of the bottle and it just goes zing and like wow.
Did you see the one where it was like
I
that?
spilled most of the beer, but I'm
Oh yeah. It's all about good content. But you see the one where it was like that, but it wasn't a little race car. It was like a big NASCAR, and they tied a string to somebody's tooth, and they went down
Yes!
the airfield.
yeah.
Who was that?
But that was I think that was the same one.
it probably
They
was.
did the bottle first, I think, and then the tooth. And the tooth, they got the root right out of the
Yeah.
gums and stuff. I'm like,
It was it was a Lamborghini.
you gotta wonder how like those guys are still alive.
Yeah.
That's drugs, I'd say.
Yeah.
Steve-O's sober now. I think so is Johnny Knoxville. I don't think Bam's doing very good though. You ever like see pictures of him?
Well, I think he's struggled with mental illness before and stuff like that, or still does, or
Still does for sure. I mean, lots of best friend. I mean, can't really hold that against him.
yeah, that was tough for that crew, I bet.
Yeah, but Steve-O, he just seems to. You never really gave me much credit. Like he's the guy on Jackass that gets the most hurt and does the craziest stuff. But nowadays, like, did you see the video where he adopted a dog down in South America?
Have not.
Oh, I can't really think of it in detail off the top of my head, but essentially they were just on this trip, and this dog kept following him around, and he kept giving this little scrawny dog food and everything, and I think he even ended up sneaking this little dog into his hotel, and he adopted this dog, and it's been with him ever since.
Interesting. I know whenever I was watching those movies, I could never like. There's a lot of really funny stuff,
Yeah.
but I could never watch any of the bits with, or I could, but it would just
Some
be so
gnarly
cringe stuff.
Yeah.
It'd be Chris Pontius. He always did
Yeah.
the most disgusting things, and I'm just like, every one of them has like, well, there's a few of them that have like a niche where they do certain stunts and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it's just like that's what they're well known for. Like Steve-O always got like the more painful ones by the look of it, but like
Yeah, he definitely did.
Chris Pontius, oh my god, I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing his last name right.
No, I think that's right. Sounds about right.
He always did the most disgusting ones, and I never like every time they came on screen, I was just like, I don't want to watch this.
Who did the mountain or the volcano? I don't want to.
It was him. It was him.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna skip over.
We don't need to you know. If
No.
you know what we're talking about, great. If you don't, you can look it up.
Yeah,
I'm not talking
I think it's Jackass 3.
Yeah, it is.
Whenever shit started getting into it, I'm okay. You know, like
Although that porta potty one with Steve-O, that was funny.
Oh.
I don't think that was real.
No.
I don't think it was. There's no way.
it definitely wasn't real whenever they got that lady on there for it. They probably just filled it with water. What's her name?
I don't know, but I think one of my favorite ones is whenever they do the Santa Claus climbing up the tree, and it's just like, yeah, Santa Claus had a few too many last night, and then he's just like, this is gonna hurt. And he climbs the top of like this giant like pine tree or spruce tree, and then they cut it down. I'm like, oh my jeez.
Oh, there's some really awful ones. One that I'm thinking of. Do you ever see those? I wouldn't even know what to call it. Like you inflate like 3/4 of it, and you put it on the water, and then like you sit on the edge of it. And, like you're kind of and somebody jumps on it, and you go like
they're like catapults almost.
Yeah, like you go 100 feet in the air. Like I used to do a small version of that.
You're thinking of the paintball one where you gotta duck that thing. Oh my god, I forgot about that. That's a great one.
I've seen that one, and I think we rented that on Evan's 16th birthday, and we actually went paintballing that day. And we just all felt it. Like we're like, no, that's awful. Another awful one was that I always talk about when the conversation comes up with Jackass is when they went to a completely pitch black dark room, got like 30 damn medicine balls, went in their underwear, and just started biffing them at each other.
That's rough.
One of the actual like good prank, funny one, well, it still would have hurt like hell, was the one where it had just the big hand in flour, and it just comes swinging around.
I love those. Oh my god, the slap. That and the getting Rocky. Oh, those are funny.
Those were awful.
Yeah.
See that one with Butterbean or whatever?
Oh, yeah, the big
like,
boxer.
Oh my gosh.
That was Johnny Knoxville too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I just want to take a little detour here from the conversation. Your shirt looks like your sweater more.
Yeah.
It looks like you're wearing a waffle.
Well, Isaac showed up with his sweater, and it's kind of like the classic, you know.
You know what's crazy though?
Sexy fisherman.
Sexy
Well,
I was just gonna say this is exactly like last week's episode when we were talking about sweaters.
So I put on my sexiest fisherman sweater, but apparently I look like a waffle with a beard. So
Yeah.
I'll try again next week.
We'll try again next week.
You guys should come Value Village with me. So that's where I got this thing. $8.
Cool stuff there, yeah.
Like
I would definitely be down for that.
Yeah.
You know what though? I've gone to the one up the road, Bibles for Missions.
Yeah. That's good
I
stuff.
find here's the thing. For Value Village, I find there's more quantity, but for Bibles for Missions, I feel there's better quality.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I feel like I've been to Value Village a few times now over the last little bit, and every time I go in, I'm seeing a lot of stuff now that just is like way too overpriced for what it is.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But
That
that
Value Village?
But how much did you pay for that?
$8 or something.
Yeah, that's a dandy shirt or sweater for $8.
Well, I did get a pair of, they literally like looked on like they were worn like twice. They were like a set of Levi's, 34, probably gonna have to shrink it down a bit, and I got them for like $10 or $11. Those dumbasses at Marks.
Go on.
They're trying to sell Levi's for like $100 a pair now. It's like you buy one get one like 50% off. Like you're not saving money. Fuck off with that. Like I got 2 pairs and I love Levi's and I'm pretty rough with them. Granted, the crotch keeps ripping out of them, and they just rip all the time. I don't know what it is. I'm a little pissed. Like, I mean, I wear them to work and everything like that, which probably isn't the best atmosphere for them, but it's like, come on.
No, that's what they were designed to do.
The crotch is but the crotch is always the first to go in any type of down. Like I have the worst luck with that. I'll only get in the raid, put them on, and I'll be putting them on. And I'm like, oh, for frig's sakes! Like, look at them. They're just when you can see like the first gradual little hole of the fact that they're starting to fade. You know, it's like these denims are not long for this world.
And then you just go and try and climb a ladder. You just hear that rip.
Yeah.
Big dick, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't rip at all. It just evaporated.
Just a big
friction rubbed it off. It's awful.
Yeah.
Well, I ripped mine anyway.
Well, you don't want to actually. I don't like wearing workwear pants because they're always so uncomfortable.
You like wearing denims?
Well, the good thing about Levi's is they have that like elastic type denim.
You should try
almost.
Carhartt, man.
Yeah. Oh, I tried Carhartt.
That's what. These are joggers, but I know what you mean, Isaac.
I didn't like the Carhartts I had. I could really feel the seams in it, and for some reason, I felt like I was wearing like Gumby's pants or something like that. They were like.
Shut up! What are Gumby's
Well,
pants?
like, or those dog training pants, and they're just like straight legged, and I don't know. I feel like
Gumby.
I feel like whenever I was wearing them, I felt like one of those big fucks from Oh Brother Where Art Thou? You know, it's like Bible preaching.
Yeah, I know exactly which one.
I can totally relate to that, bro. Yeah.
Oh, it was like just straight leg, and it was super tight at the waist. I'd like almost like I'd like fuck up my hands trying to get in the pockets because the pockets were so tight for some reason.
Yeah, the pockets are tight.
Like,
Dakota has a pair of pants, and they have like I'll just say like it's for your lanyard if you're a roofer to anchor yourself to the roof.
Yeah.
It's got that big orange strap in the back.
Oh yeah.
That's not the selling point for me, but those pants, those are the best work pants. I mean, they're kind of annoying where there's a billion pockets, kind of like cargo pants.
Yeah.
But that could kind of be helpful too. If you're climbing a ladder or whatever, you can take a bunch of stuff up.
Are they comfortable? Cause like
Yeah, they're good climbing pants.
I'd wear sweatpants to work if I could.
Well, what are those pants that Joe Rogan has on his podcast that he's always going on about? Like, I can kick in these. Like, it's just like I'm wearing sweatpants, but they're jeans.
Well, I have a pair of those. Well, I got my pair at Costco, and they're like I could do full on squats in jeans. Like I was like, holy crap, these are wicked. Yeah. The only problem with that though is you go to put on a regular pair of old jeans,
Yeah, all right.
and you get in them, and you're like, wow, these are uncomfortable, or wow, these do not bend well.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't wear the flex fit ones or whatever they're called for too long because otherwise you just get used to them and. It's
What is that called on Corner Gas on that episode where like Lacey comes over and like they raise the bar of what food they're eating? That's what happened to Ben. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? On Corner Gas.
Oh, they started doing all that like gourmet shit.
Yeah, like Lacey brings like expensive chocolate. It's like, oh, I hate you, Lacey. Now I can't eat like Hershey chocolate because I have to buy like fancy stuff. That's what happened to Ben.
They raised to a new bracket or whatever.
Yeah, I raised you to a new bracket.
It's like, just peasantry.
Listen, I just like the way they fit. They fit well.
Well, I go up a size whenever I know these are going to be work jeans. Like, I mean, sometimes I'll wear the same jeans, whatever. But I do kind of have my work jeans and my Saturday night jeans, if I will say, I guess. And they do. I go up a size with them, and if they drag a little bit, that's fine.
Yeah. Now, do you, how often would you wash work jeans, if at all?
Honestly, when I first started, it was every time I'd use them, I'd wash them. But then I kind of I really didn't work that hard that day. I don't need to wash these jeans. Like, these are all right. But if I would, if they were ruined, by all means, I would throw them in. But yeah, usually 2, maybe 3. I don't usually wear them 3 times and don't wash them, but 2 would be average by far.
Yeah. Okay.
I got these, but in the wintertime, I had these pants, and they were insulated. Oh my god. Same thing. They just put me up a pant bracket. Because when I wouldn't wear the insulated pants on these minus 20 days, you really noticed it.
Were they Dickies?
No, they weren't Dickies. I think they were actually Dakota.
Okay.
I ended up buying 2 more pairs, identical pants, exact same pants,
Right
and I wore them all winter. It was well worth the money. I got them at Valley Village.
Oh really?
Yeah. When I seen them there, it was two on the rack, identical as the other ones, same size and everything. I'm like, perfect. This is what I'm gonna wear all winter.
Yeah.
I did.
I gotta get on that winter stuff. I always my upper body's always good, but my legs are always kind of cold.
Yeah. Just wait right here. I'm gonna go get a pair.
Oh my gosh. Are we gonna try and clothing?
Oh, what's that? No, we're not trying to close. Jeez.
All right. Check these out.
Oh, I love them. I love them.
Oh, they're not Dakota. Feel that.
Oh, it's like it's
Fleece
felt-
on the
yeah,
inside.
fleece.
They're heavy.
Delicious.
They are my Peyton pants as well, as you'll see.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to figure out what.
I like that they're stylized after cargo pants. I really like that feature.
I wore them all winter. They're ruined.
Well, that's what you need.
Listen, I don't give a damn what anybody says. I love cargo pants and cargo shorts. That's also why I have like no fashion sense.
Well, no, I you pull off cargo shorts today.
I just like utility for it. I don't give a care.
Honestly, all summer I wore flip flops, cargo shorts, and like a white t-shirt. That was my whole look all summer.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about having like the slim fit, no pocket kind of shorts. That's just not me.
No.
You know what though? Oh, sorry. You go first, and then.
Well, I just don't like shorts that go above my knees. It just that bugs me. I feel like everyone's watching me. It's like, who's this guy with shorts above his knees? But I know that's I guess the fashion now.
I have one pair of shorts like that, and I don't think I wear them nearly as much as I do my cargo shorts, and they're like my going out shorts. They're not even really like. But back to like the pockets. I know you were talking about like how like the tight the pockets are, like you can't use it.
Yeah.
As bad as that is for like us, there's no way they're nearly as bad as pockets in women's jeans. My coworker, my former coworker and colleague, she used to buy men's jeans because she wanted real pockets instead of like these ridiculous like super small ones that you could almost fit nothing in.
I bet they would be. That's probably why the iPhone 6s were like, or was it the 6X or something? Anyways,
What are you talking about?
Phones bending in people's pockets.
Oh,
How many
yeah.
like newtons of force do you think's on?
No,
like,
it's not
some
that
people's
crazy.
Pants?
That's not that crazy. They didn't have a frame. They were just like an hollow aluminum block with like a screen and stuff in it. Like phones today, every other phone in the world, they had like a frame in it to keep it from bending. But yeah, I think that was a pretty bad choice on Apple. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty hard on my phones. Like I know how much abuse they go through.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's all cracked up or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm very hard on my phone.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan, did you crack it again?
No. It's just starting to spread.
Oh, Alan.
That's recording too, so just be careful.
On the phone? Oh, damn.
Just a backup. Well, we're not gonna use it. But yeah, I felt awful about that when I had it out of its case. I go and I had it in like my breast pocket, and I was filling up. At the pumps at the Petro, and I had my mom's car, and I'm trying to actually get the gas cap off, and like I figured I'd just grab it and spit it. Couldn't figure it out, so it's one of those things. Oh, I gotta look a little bit closer. And figured out how this gas cap works. Phone slips right out of my pocket, right onto the concrete, out of its case, and that's all the damage that happened to it. And Josh was Stewart. He has the exact same phone. He had it for like 3 days. He drops it in the side of his door. It's a Galaxy S8, so it has the edge screen. He drops it in the side of his door, cracks it.
Those are garbage. I had the option to get the wraparound screen.
So did I.
And I purposely didn't because I knew for a fact if I did, it would break.
I always wanted one. I did. And
They're cool looking, but I would not get one.
Yeah,
you know what? I love it. I'm just kind of like waiting for it to break at this point. Like I don't even have the money to replace it, but like I know it was a bad choice for a person like me, but ever since they came out with the S7, voice crack there. Ever since they came out with the S7, I've wanted one.
Well, that's what mine is. Mine's an S7, but it's not the.
And that's
not. Is it like the S7 Edge or something like that?
That's when they first came out. It was the S7 Edge, and then they were both the identical same phone. And now it's like the flagship is the Edge, and the lower class one is the regular one. Like that's what Isaac has. He is the S10e. Is that which is stupid?
You're talking about peasantry. That is like I'm not gonna get the S7 like a peasant. I want the S7 Edge.
Yeah.
Well, this phone here, like.
Isaac has the nicest phone. Like, it's unreal.
I don't know if I'd ever need a newer phone. This phone, like even the iPhone 6, if I didn't land on that thing and like shatter half the screen, that's like all
you know what?
man needs right there.
You know what, Isaac?
You know?
Bet you in 2 years you will.
No.
In 1 year you will.
No.
In 1 year you will need a new phone.
Well, okay. Well, with that whole like customer,
No, you go ahead.
Well, with that whole thing you were saying about the 2 years support, I think that's bullshit.
Samsung stopped supporting phones after 2 years. I have the S8, and they're now on the S11. I will not be receiving any more. I'll still be getting updates for the phone, but
They'll be slow as shit after a while.
They'll be slow. There'll be no more major updates. Like I think they're just gonna be security ones, which is great. Makes me feel safe. But I'm trying to think like, you know how Android used to be like ice cream sandwich and then jelly sandwich, like they had all these weird names.
Okay, why the hell do they name those after desserts? I always get hungry every time I go looking for phones.
Well, they've said stop.
The lollipop, ice cream
Lollipop,
sandwich.
yeah.
Like, jeez.
They've said stop that. I liked it because like, oh, I can remember this one, I can remember that one. I remember ice cream sandwich. That was the one that every Galaxy S or Galaxy Ace and every crappy tablet had, and then probably to this day still have. I think that was like Android 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I had the worst tablet, man, growing up. I mean, I shouldn't complain. I got it on Black Friday for like.
You sound so privileged.
I
had the worst tablet growing up.
I paid for it with my money that I earned at the Save Easy. I got it on Black Friday. I wouldn't complain otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did sound like a prissy little girl. But I did. I had the worst tablet. I think it was ice cream sandwich, and oh man, it was actually, you know how most of them, you know, like phones and tablets, they're not perfect squares. They're landscape shaped, right? Like a 16:9 type thing.
Yeah.
This was a square tablet. Almost like a leapfrog type thing.
Well, I guess for me, like, I'll never go to an iPhone just because, like, I'm not an Apple guy.
I've never had an iPhone myself either. I complained about it too much on the Roost Street podcast.
Listen, I see the appeal for them, especially with the. I've noticed they had when I was with the Cals, some of them had like that one with the portrait mode, and that's actually a dandy feature. I wish all phones came with that. Portrait mode, it rocks. But the one thing that I don't know, I just don't like how. I just find Android way more user friendly.
I disagree.
Oh.
Yeah?
I disagree completely. Android has all the options that iPhone will get in 5 years, but they're not user friendly. But I'm fine with that. Like, you really gotta search for, oh, this is cool, but they don't advertise it. They're not having a keynote about. Let me think. What's that one feature Apple just got in the new iPhone? Swiping text. I think I've had that since.
I'm not up to date with all the features on the new iPhones.
Well, the new big thing they were going on about.
That could also just be me because like I haven't had like I haven't had much interface
I don't watch
with any of the Apples or anything like that. Like I haven't the only iPhone I ever owned was an iPhone 3S
3GS
or something like that.
That was their first one. The first one was the 3G, then the 3GS, and then they had like a 3GS white. And it was the same phone, but it was white.
Yeah. Well, regardless, this is like that iPhone was back when it was absolute crap, and that was before they like. I had that 3 when people were going to like the 4 and maybe even the 5 at that point. This is back in like high school.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
And
I think the summer when I was going into grade 10, I was saving up for an iPhone 3GS, but I didn't end up getting it.
Yeah.
I just got an iPod Touch, and I was super happy with that. And a cell phone. I was actually thinking about going back to that. Getting a flip phone and then an iPad, like an iPad mini with a data plan.
Yeah.
I would muchly prefer that.
Really?
Bigger battery. I could do without watching YouTube videos or Reddit on the go. But when your phone dies, you can't get any calls. You can't get any texts. I hate that. So if they're separate, and I have a Nokia phone where my battery lasts like 3 days...
I can see that, but here's the one thing about the phone where that would come in. Yeah. You would guaranteed that if you had something like that set up, there'd be so many times where you'd be like, "Oh crap, I forgot my iPod or my tablet or whatever," and now or my iPad, and you'd be like, "At least I have my phone. Oh wait, I can only text or call."
But you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's for a smartphone, it has literally everything you could ever want, need, right in that. And, like, guaranteed, like, one thing I don't like about the new Androids, though, is that they're using, like, the iPhone, they're using the Apple method where they're, like, making all these different chargers.
Yeah.
And that drives me nuts.
I was one of the first people to get a Type-C, and it was hell, dude. It was.
It sucks. Like,
it was, like, 2 years ago. Isaac, when did we live together and I made this big deal about getting a new phone? How long ago was that? Remember I was always bitching. Sorry, Remember I was always complaining about my LG G5, like all his phone's awful and this and that. That's when we lived together in Summerside, like with Tim and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would have been, what, a year and a half ago? I'd say so. It was when I was in college anyway. So,
like that.
so at least a year ago, we'll say. I had the LG G5. What an awful, awful phone. You know what? I'm not going to go on a rant about that. I remember there was one day, though, I was traveling from Surrey to Summerside to go to college, and I forgot my charger, and my battery was like 30%. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm just not charging my phone that day. Like, just went without it because nobody had a Type-C charger.
Yeah.
I hated it.
That's where I'm at right now with my S7, because like my S7's wicked because it takes literally any type of micro SD chargers or whatever they are called.
And they're still pretty common. Like all the vapes, all the like everything else gets charged with micro SD. Google Home, that's micro SD. You can, and most people have one of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can go almost anywhere and someone will have some form of charger like that. And like back in the day when they were using those old, like the classic iPhone chargers were like the same ones that you used to charge iPods. Literally any of the Apple products was using the same charger.
Yeah.
And then they went and changed it
To Lightning.
and it's just.
I think they should change it again. I think everything should be Type-C. Let's just agree on Type-C. That's all we need. Because everything could be Type-C. Even like your charger to your laptop could be Type-C. The MacBook is like that. All your inputs could be Type-C. Everything. I think that's just the way to do it.
Yeah, that's just me as a customer. I'm not looking at this as like the one who's making the products. Like,
what I liked about the Samsung S8, and phones don't come with all the trinkets nowadays. Remember when you'd get a phone and have like it come with headphones? Whatever happened to that?
Half the fun was just it was like a little gift box.
Yeah,
the unboxing, right? Unboxing videos.
Yeah, I was just gonna say people made millions of dollars just opening boxes. Yeah. Although I do.
They really make millions. I don't.
In total, gross. In total, yeah.
I want to see those figures. Who made money on those videos?
Have you ever watched Unbox Therapy on
No.
YouTube? You know what? They sound boring and they're clickbaity as heck. But if they come up on your YouTube feed, you can bet your ass I'm gonna click on it. It's
That's fair.
The top 10 gaming phones, and he just unboxes them. But there's just I don't know. There's something special about it.
Yeah.
But oh shoot, what were we just talking about? I was gonna go on a rant. Yeah, this Samsung S8, it came with all the bells and whistles. It came with a nice pair of headphones, with the AUX. It came with Type-C to USB adapter, so I can plug this into my charger. I can plug in, and then I can plug in an Xbox controller or a keyboard that's not Bluetooth. There could be like a normal USB on my phone. That was slick.
Yeah.
It came with Type-C to micro SD adapter. That was the big thing. I still carry that in my wallet wherever I go. Because like what you were saying earlier, everybody's got a micro SD charger.
Yeah. I don't know. I just... breathe.
I didn't want to stop there. I was like, all right, I just got to get this all out.
Yeah.
I almost choked myself talking.
Drink up. Replenish your fluids.
People listening to this podcast, they're gonna stop talking about jeans and chargers
and putting bottles up your ass.
Oh yeah.
But let's be clear, you didn't put the bottle up your ass, right?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
It was just
that's the picture that I was getting painted
See,
in
you
my
keep
head.
saying ass. It was just his ass cheek. It wasn't like.
Oh yeah, I was very discreet about it.
I don't know. I asked you a few times, and you kind of like didn't answer me immediately.
Yeah.
And that's fine if you want to do that. That's great. Good for you.
Well, you know, I'm only telling you guys the ones that worked.
That's fair.
The ones that worked. Hopefully the bottle didn't slip or
You
anything.
just have a secret journal. September 29th, 2019. This method did not work.
We breached the
I will
wall.
tell no one, and I will burn this journal.
I kind of want to know about the methods that didn't work now.
I wish I didn't open that one. I could have showed you guys how it all worked.
I don't
and
want to
stuff.
see that.
Okay.
No one wants to see that.
So no homo and all that. I don't know.
I don't know. Some people might be intrigued.
Like, I guess I was pretty curious on how everything works, so who knows? I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
We just put the mic up, and whenever you hear it crack open, they know.
Yeah. Speaking of bottles and beer. I went to a beer fest on Friday for the Delta there.
I was close to going, but I didn't end up going. Did you see Calvin there?
I didn't see him. He must have gone to the Saturday one because I was at the Friday one.
Yeah, they did go to the Saturday one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was beer fest is really, really awesome, but it's also like soul crushing to a certain extent.
Sorry, you said there was at the Delta?
Yeah.
So it's all inside?
It's all inside.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
And no, but it's not even that. It's the fact that like you go there and you're like you fall in love with these beautiful sessional beers and ciders and ales.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that that's only for that event. It's like
that's stupid.
Finally getting a taste of your wildest dreams. It's awesome. It's everything you could ever want in life, and it's the best thing. But then you realize it was just a dream. And you're just like, man, this is kind of a bummer. Because I had this one, it was called Cherry Pie, and it literally tasted like cherry pie. And it was so good. It wasn't even a cider. It was like almost like a beer. Actually, it might have been a cider. I don't know. But it was really good.
Well, it's like that Upstreet stuff they had, and maybe they still make it. I don't even check anymore. But I really liked it. It wasn't the Ruby Social. It had like a devil on the bottle.
Oh, Go Devil.
Yeah. Do they still have that?
Oh no, I found one in the basement like a while back.
Yeah, I found one in the boot of my car, like in the trunk where the spare tire is. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I threw it out.
What? Was it still full?
Oh my
Yeah, it was
gosh.
I don't even know where it came from.
Well,
Sacrilege.
probably just gets you more fucked up. More time to ferment or whatever.
No, beer's not like wine.
We're
I think
just
it just goes bad.
We're just gonna go in the basement whenever we're all like 50. We're all gonna go into your basement, and you're just gonna have like a cellar full of like
Twisted
old
teas.
twisted teas and like beer and shit. Like, oh man.
Well, did you know that for like a good portion of the alcohols, they don't actually age in the bottle?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, that like when I worked for the distillery in Rolla Bay, there, it like unless
The doctor one, where they make moonshine.
yeah.
That's cool. You don't talk about that.
So like
Oh, one sec. Can I just say one thing?
yeah, go for it.
Isaac, that just reminded me one thing. One thing I thought about one night, like when I was getting the spins on the couch at Josh's, I'm like, what if I just like save one twisted tea from every like good night out, and then I like wrote on the bottom like everything that happened that night, and then I just saved it forever. It's like,
Holy shit!
like I kind of want to do that.
Like a full tea or an empty can?
no full tea, and then just like saved it.
Okay.
Probably just like get like a week with it, and you're just like, oh, I got all these teas in the fridge.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I need it.
Yeah, I was thinking. Oh, we're on the whole. Well, what were you saying about the fermenting? How it doesn't actually age on the bottle? What do you mean?
So okay, so like at least for like the spirits that they were selling there, unless you have an actual like causing agent of the aging, like if you have like a piece of like charcoal or whatever it is that
Is oxygen not an aging thing?
Well, no, because it's all sealed off, right? Because they seal off the bottles, like
Yeah, but they don't pull a vacuum. There's still a little bit of air in there.
yeah, but not to the extent like. Okay, so the thing is, for the way they do, like the way it's done, when you're aging for any type of like, whiskey or rum or whatever you're aging it for, you do it in oak cask barrels, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you just have it in a bottle doesn't actually age it. When you're aging it, you're getting the flavors of the surrounding spots. Space.
Okay.
So
I'm
like,
sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so all your like clear spirits are usually like unaged.
Well, that's why moonshine's technically a whiskey, and that blew my mind because like, well, no, it's clear. Whiskeys aren't clear, but whiskeys are clear.
It can be either a whiskey or a rum, actually.
Why is it considered a rum?
Well, because anyways,
I guess that kind of puts you on the spot. I mean, that's it's probably a very. All right, I gotta look it up. I'm gonna look up the difference between a whiskey and a rum.
I was thinking.
it's the base.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like the mash.
Yep, it's the mash that you use to create it. Because like when you're making whiskey, you're usually using a form of grain, and rum's usually a sugar.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Same with moonshine and vodka. One is like your vodka is going to be a grain,
Or it could be potato.
or yeah. Here's the reason why grain's better than potato. Potato is so like there's so many different variables that go into distilling. That's why like
I was gonna say like as potatoes probably become more rotten, the pH levels probably go up, so it's probably hard to get all the same level of rottenness of a potato?
Well,
Is that what
it's
it
not
is,
even
or-
just that. It's like the soil that they're grown in, where in the field they were
Yeah,
harvested,
okay.
like the different factors. Say if there's like a tree in the middle of somewhere and there's it's like there's projecting shade on one of the berms. That's gonna cause a different like type of growth. It's there's so many variables that go into potato vodka compared to grain vodka because grain is like really easy to make and like produce.
Yeah.
One's not like I've never tasted because I'm not a big vodka guy, but like
I'm a vodka guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried the potato stuff?
I think the Blue Lobster, is that a potato vodka?
I have no clue. At that point though, I'm not even
Lobster vodka.
Blue Lobster. Well, it's made in Nova Scotia.
gross.
Ew. Ew. Yeah. Okay. Did you guys know Crystal Head vodka is made in Newfoundland? And Dan Aykroyd owns the company.
Crystal Head vodka?
Or is that what it is? Crystal Skull. Crystal Head. Oh my god.
Oh, was
I
that
was
that
gonna
stuff that's
Crystal
actually in the
Head.
skull bottle? Or?
Yeah. But Crystal Skull, that's made in Newfoundland. Joe Rogan, he had Dan Aykroyd recently on his podcast, and I didn't know he was involved with that. They run the vodka over this special type of diamond before it goes in the bottle, and what Dan Aykroyd said, he
Was
said,
it a fragment of the crystal skull from Indiana Jones?
no, but it's some weird diamond, man.
Are you wait? Is this gonna be? Do you think they're just like rhyming incantations and shit like that with all these crystals? They're just filtering all the like. You think it's like one of that some of that
Well,
shit? Or
well, he said he said
Oh.
himself, like any high school chemist teacher will tell you that like there's no chemistry going on there. Like there's no way that any of the crystal actually gets into the vodka. And then immediately after that, he says, "But it turns yellow after about like 20 bottles." It's like, okay,
What?
doesn't really mean anything.
They just got to the crystals that a dog peed on or something like that.
Fuck.
Don't eat the yellow crystals.
Yeah. But anyways, it's
So hard to find good information on the internet here. I'm trying to figure out the difference between rum and whiskey still.
We need Jamie.
Pull that shit up, Jamie.
I was seeing interesting thing. I don't know if it's true or not, but whenever I was in high school, in island history with Mr. Macaulay there, he apparently said, and I thought it was cool with getting into museum studies and reading all the old, I guess, documentations, journals, shit like that. He apparently said that there might be actually old cases of rum and alcohol and shit like that from rum runners that might have come and dropped it off at certain parts of the island.
well, Georgetown actually has some of the most richest history for rum running. They
Yeah.
still have
Really?
they still have buildings down in Georgetown with underground like cellars where they would creep in through the town, like sneak around and stuff like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Really?
my one of our old family friends, the Spencers, they used to rent a place down there, and they had like one of those cellars that went through on the underground area,
Yeah.
and like they had a whole system apparently.
Huh.
But it's because like rum running,
Unreal.
it was because they had like the way it was placed geographically, it was
Yeah.
like the perfect
Is
spot.
that
to
why
do
it's
it.
the deepest port? Or it just is naturally?
I have no clue why, but that'll be some more research at some point. But like,
It's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, and like rum running was pretty big too. Like, do you know how they did it?
Oh, wait. Let me guess. So I had a friend from Bermuda that I met in college. And he told me kind of a similar story of how they do it. What they did, they would put them in like a crab pot or a trap, and they would sink them. They put them at the bottom of the ocean, and they tie a buoy to it, and then somebody come pick it up. Is it similar to that?
Similar to that, yeah. Yeah, they from what I heard, it was like they'd have like I don't know if this is true or not, but like they'd have like a oak cask barrel, and then they'd fill, or not oak, but like they'd have a barrel,
Yeah.
and they'd fill half of it with like trade goods that they'd like send off over the boat or whatever, and they'd fill like they'd have
Like two different liquids?
yeah.
Like two different density. Okay.
Yeah, and then they'd have the heavier ones at the bottom, so that it would be, or however that would work. so that would like bob, and they know exactly which way, or which like
That's interesting.
which section of the barrel had the rum and which didn't.
Well, apparently that's how they smuggle a lot of drugs over the border.
Yeah.
They'll dissolve. I think it's cocaine. Like cocaine can dissolve in everything. They'll dissolve it into almost like a water bottle or whatever it'll be, and they'll just bring it on the plane.
At some point, we're gonna have to be more credible with our sources.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just talking about random shit.
No, this is what happens. This is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a Jamie one of these days, and he can call us.
Well,
out.
we'll have to get a fact checker at some point.
No one
Yeah, I think
take
you're
any
a
of this
good
stuff
fact checker.
with a grain of salt. Just
Did you say nobody take any of this with a grain of salt?
how does that work? Is it
Take it with a grain of salt.
take it with
Take
the
the
gra-
salt
take
home with you.
take all this shit with it? We're just
We're full of
just-
shit.
yeah, well, probably I don't know. There's probably learned people listening to this right now.
Well, Bryce Cal called when Bryce was talking to me about the
Yeah.
podcast. He was just like, "I love it. I can't get enough of it." I was listening to it at work,
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
he said he's just like,
Bryce.
it's just a bunch of my favorite degenerates just talking about stupid stuff. I was like, I thought it was gonna be when I seen your guys' names on it. I'm like, this is gonna be some interesting stuff, very thought provoking. Nope, just a bunch of degenerates talking about something, a bunch of random shit, and I love it.
Well, yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there to an intelligent conversation, but for now we're having too much fun being idiots.
Yeah, I know. It's just what it is.
That people ask me though, like they'll ask me like, "Okay, Alan, what kind of podcast is this going to be? Like, what are you guys going to talk about?" I'm like, "What do you mean? What are we going to talk about it? We're just kind of, or honestly,
Anything
we're just
and
kind of
everything.
winging it. Like in all honesty, when the conversation first came up of us doing a podcast, probably a year ago, honestly, we were all just hanging out, and we're like, guys, like we could really pull off a podcast.
We
if
could
just-
shape some minds.
and then, like, we wouldn't have to do anything. I wanted to just be like, you guys are a fly in the wall to our conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And then someone said, "Well, we just sound like a bunch of fucking idiots." That was pretty much like how it went.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's
No,
good.
yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not good entertainment.
No one take us seriously. Anyone who's listening, there are five devout listeners.
Yeah.
Don't take us seriously,
Yeah,
because
if like you're working on your thesis or something at UPEI or in university, please don't cite us as your source, so we don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know. I've done a lot of courses at UPI and go like various biology courses and stuff like that. And some of the sources I've cited, holy crap! I'm like, there's some things that we've said today that I think would be more credible than some of the.
we are not worthy.
I remember growing up, Wikipedia was like the worst thing in the world, right?
You know,
Absolutely cannot use it.
you know the hack to that though.
What?
Go down to the very bottom of the Wikipedia page. They'll show all the sources that they use for that article.
Oh, really?
Yep. Because they have
Good
to.
work around, yeah.
They got to provide all the resources they got for their information from. So you don't use Wikipedia. You use Wikipedia to find your sources.
Okay,
And that's working smart, not hard.
I think like there's just so much it's not just Wikipedia. There's so much fake shit out there now. Like you'd be on Reddit and then they'll like
Yes, because it is the most credible of
well,
them.
no, but they'll have
Yeah.
like this article and stuff. Oh, jeez. Everyone's like comment, wow, this is amazing and all that stuff. I'm like, is this like okay? I gotta like look this up. And then a lot of the times I find it's all just like BS pretty much, you know.
On Reddit?
Well, I mean, okay. Well, I think so. Well, a lot of the stuff is real, and a lot of the stuff is like fake, or a lot of the stuff is like the truth is kind of like it's not 100% what they're showing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other variables, I guess.
Well, that's like what's the site that I was? Oh, the one I always got a kick out of people that like trust their all-knowing opinion was IFL Science.
What's that?
I-
IFL?
I fucking love science.
Oh, yeah, that on Twitter.
People would always like use anything they seen from that, and like
Yeah.
I was all like,
I used to follow them and I unfollowed them because there was something I was like, this is.
I'm like 90% sure I've seen a few different like articles. I'm like, yeah, this is not true.
No. I mean, at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, fact check your shit.
well, now Facebook has this thing where it'll almost fact check it for you. They just have like, is this a credible source? I think that's a great step in the right direction, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's just so many people just sharing these articles from like just god awful websites that'll just give your computer a virus within 3 minutes of being on it.
Well, yeah, and it's just, I don't know. There's so much stuff now that you just can't. You gotta do some of your own legwork when it comes to research, because it just, well, frig, man. Like, look how many fundraising things turned out to be a sham because people were taking them for like the same, like UNICEF. UNICEF was like,
What's UNICEF? What were they fundraising for?
they were fundraising for some, I think it was a third world country development or something like that.
Was this the guy that got caught? The Coney 2012
No,
stuff?
different guy. But yeah, that is also like, no, different guy.
Caught in Florida,
Yeah.
playing with himself in a porta potty. Like, that's just awful.
I love that you whispered. I'm sorry for this.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut that out.
What are we? What?
Oh, that's perfect. You know, that's a good segue.
What? What
What are we doing? You leave for like 2 minutes, Isaac, and you're out of the loop now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just keep going. What bring us a synopsis?
We're talking about incredible charities.
Incredible charities or just any incredible information.
Well, yeah, like there's just so many people. It's like, oh, this is what I agree with, or that's what they'll look for. Is just news sources agreeing with their opinions on certain topics.
Yeah.
And they don't really care how credible it is. They probably don't even read it. They read the title and then share it, let's be honest.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. There was like, yeah. So much
I've been bad for that on Reddit. I'll read the title.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's not like I'm sharing it to everybody.
there's so many like, there's so much, just fucking. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But there's a lot of fucking idiots out there. I saw on Reddit this one time, and I like some of the articles are just so absurd, but like they're actually like act serious. Like sometimes you see like something that's so ridiculous, and like how could someone ever think that? And like but so I have to look it up and see like are you guys like serious? I saw this one thing about how on Lord of the Rings how the orcs weren't like treated right or something like that, and how they should actually have rights.
Like, what's that?
And, like,
in the Lord of the Rings universe, or the actors that played them?
I think Lord of the Rings universe is
Okay.
what I
Okay.
read.
Well, I can. Well, so we'll keep going.
Well, I looked it up, and and whenever we were watching the movies, they were talking about it was like Age of the Orc and all that stuff. But what people don't get is Saruman and the orcs. What's that? What?
Saruman?
Or
What did you say?
Sauron, whatever.
No,
you want.
Saruman's one of the.
Yeah.
Is he the big eye?
No, that's Sauron. Saruman's the white, like the evil white wizard.
Yeah.
Bad guy. He's
Well,
a bad guy.
They're like all. I could get where it makes sense, but like they're like the orcs are supposed to be the embodiment of like evil. It's like the kind of everyone's argument where it's like I'm fine with whatever you do as long as it doesn't interfere with other people. Orcs, they just want to go down, pillage villages, and
Well, the orcs were kind of like disgraced elves or something like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
They were
Same in Oblivion and Skyrim.
I didn't know that.
we need Tim
Never
here.
made that connection.
Tim read the actual like Lord of the Rings Bible. What's it called? The
Silmarillion.
yeah, Silmarillion. And he was talking about Balrogs and all that shit about how the evil entity, I forget what his name. There's good entity and good and bad. And the bad guy, he couldn't make creations of his own. He could only take things that were already made and turn them into
Corrupt them.
Yeah. And that's how like Balrogs and I think that's how orcs were invented. Weren't they?
Yeah. He took he corrupted some elves and turned them and basically made them orcs.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't read a whole lot into this Silmarillion, but I know that like, Gandalf is like part of this. He's part of like this like divine kind of race.
Yeah.
There's only like a few of them and all that.
Yeah.
White Wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually whenever you actually like really kind of look into it. pretty like remarkable story.
No, it's
Like,
Yeah. When I watched them, it was just like things just kind of happened. I didn't
Yeah.
know there was all this backstory.
Tolkien was like he's still there's so many people. I was reading an article about this. There was a new fantasy writer, and she was saying that she's competing with a bunch of dead guys, and she hated it because her book was like not selling.
Oh yeah.
I forget what the hell the title of her book was, and that tells you what kind of like. It just kind of like justifies her argument in saying that like it's time for new fantasy to come about. But at the same time, like those like the work that they put in like is just unreal. They built worlds and that were heavily influenced by world events at the time. Like the Lord of the Rings books, they were influenced by like World War.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
well,
and all that shit. Yeah.
Like Animal Kingdom?
What's that?
Kind of like the book Animal Kingdom?
What's it influenced by?
I'm
not familiar
the
with
Soviet Union falling, I think.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure it is. Like, have you ever heard of Animal Kingdom?
I've
Is
heard
it
of it. Is it Netflix special?
Wait, no. It's not Animal Kingdom. That's a TV show. A
Yeah,
good
I was
TV
just
show.
gonna say.
I'm thinking of Animal Farm. Same thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I remember
no,
that.
I haven't heard of that.
I heard of it. I didn't read it though.
That was a good book.
Yeah.
That was one book I really enjoyed reading in high school. And yeah, it was basically all these pigs rise up and take the farm back from the farmers, but then they become the farmers. They become the bad guys.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And
Damn.
I obviously when I read it, I didn't know a friggin' thing about the Soviet Union and the collapse of all that. But that's essentially, it was just a metaphor for that.
Yeah. What So what would the pigs from?
Sorry, the pigs what?
What would the pigs from? Would they just other animals type shit?
Comrades.
What?
But what do you mean with the farm? No, like they became the humans. Like eventually, they kick the humans. Like they rise up.
Yeah.
They get all the other animals mad, and they kick the humans out of their house. And then like the last chapter, even the last couple pages of the book, next thing you know, the pigs are eating at the dinner table.
Oh,
The
yeah.
pigs are watching TV, and then I think even like one of the last sentences of the book too, the pigs stand up on two legs.
Oh, that's kind of fucking creepy.
That is real creepy.
It is. And in some way, shape, or form of another, it was a metaphor for the fall of the Soviet Union, and I didn't know anything about that. I still don't. God no.
It was probably just that whole like no one can have power without corruption or something like that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
what?
Or people try to rise up and bring the man down, and they become the man themselves. That was pretty much the whole story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it's like applicable to a lot of other stuff.
Well, that's like the whole argument. Is like power corrupts all. Doesn't matter what it is, because even like the powerless, once they become empowered, they become the new.
Yeah.
Well, what was that thing? The Stanford prison experiment, something like that? Where they took all these people.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Took all these people and they did some sort of test experiment, and they told them like, this is fake, this isn't real. We want you guys to pretend to be the prisoners. We want you guys to pretend to be the guards. And I don't know how they talked them into it, but they didn't actually tell them what was actually going on. The real experiment was to see how people treat power, but they told the people in the experiment something else. I don't remember what it was.
That is literally the concept of this new Netflix show called The Island, but it's spelled like I and then dash and then land.
Oh yeah.
And it is
The Island.
it's like a sci-fi kind of show, but it's very similar to like Lost.
There's an old crazy movie called The Island. Is it kind of like that? You ever heard tell that?
Are you talking about the one with Ewan McGregor?
Maybe. The one that the Simpsons make fun of anyway. That's the only thing that I know about it.
Oh,
It's like old movie. It was weird.
What's it about?
It's just about this. Well, I never seen the actual movie. I just seen the Simpsons. You know, their version of it or whatever. And like Homer wakes up on this strange ass island, and they replace him. Like they send like a body double to his family, so they didn't even know he was gone. And just a lot of strange stuff happens.
Huh? I'll have to look that up.
2005.
What?
The Island came out.
Probably not right.
Actually,
Is that the one with Ewan McGregor?
yeah, it's Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that one was a good one. I like that one.
What a Ewan McGregor's fantastic.
He's, you know what? He's the best.
1980.
What's that?
1980 was the
Oh,
original.
shit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Ewan McGregor is the best thing of the Star Wars prequels.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I love him as young Obi-Wan, and I hope they make an Obi-Wan like flick with him in it.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Because now he's getting to that point where he's like, there's enough time that's passed between the last, like, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, that he actually kind of looks like mid-age Obi-Wan between him and Al Guinness.
Okay, I know what you mean, that's just great acting. You ever watch, what was that one? It was the one about the fish. What was it called? Tim brought it up.
You want me to look up Ian McGregor fish? Will that help you?
Probably would, yeah.
Ewan McGregor?
I don't know. I didn't watch Star Wars.
Big Fish, I think, is what it was called.
Big Fish.
Fish hook?
Ewan McGregor fish.
Big Fish, yeah. Okay.
That movie was freaking awesome. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Tim was telling me about it and everything.
2003 American fantasy drama film based on the 1998 novel of the same name by Danielle Wallace. The film is it's directed by Tim Burton and stars this guy here. I'm too nervous to say his name.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
The only reason I can say it well is because I have a friend named Ewan, and he's actually pretty cool
Ewan.
Ewan. Ewok.
I mean, it's just an extra. It's just an extra U from Evan.
That's fair.
You know, it's got the W instead of a V.
Just cut out half that W.
Yeah. Well, that's a weird thing too. Shouldn't it be a double V, not a double U?
Well, I think I was back into like, why does W sound like "wah" when it starts with "duh"?
Jesus Christ!
Oh my gosh!
I'm not getting into etymology.
And that's like the only letter that does too. Every other letter starts with itself, doesn't it? Like A, A, B, B,
C.
Tim.
Do you fucking remember that in school? Whenever they like euphemism or something like that, it's you me. It is.
Was that for like iambic pentameter?
Well, it's just like or something like that. It's like it kind of like sounded all the words and shit.
Yeah, iambic pentameter.
Yeah, Miss McGregor would always do stuff like that.
Population.
Except we do like stuff for poetry, and it's like you have to count how many syllables for each phrase you'd use for a poem. Like that's yeah.
Well, that's the basis of making a good parody. You're gonna have the same iambic pentameter.
Iambic pentameter.
I'm really hoping I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm not looking it up.
Medulla oblongata. Mitochondria. Powerhouse of the cell.
Did you know the proper term of pulling out is coitus interruptus? The actual medical term is coitus interruptus.
Coitus interruptus.
My buddy told me that one time.
Sounds like a Harry Potter spell. Coitus interruptus.
Bro.
Cock block spell or something.
He just one blocked me.
And can you imagine Snape coming in and just today I will teach you the arts of cock blocking.
Coitus interruptus.
Yeah. 5 points from Gryffindor.
Well.
So I think it's time to move on to opening our weekly can of worms, which is going to be.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do that.
Yeah, because we've been talking about a lot of different products and stuff like that.
I mean, we're only an hour in.
Our this week's topic was like plastics and disposables, and so I felt like bringing up the topic of styrofoam takeout dishes versus paper or carton takeout dishes, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
What do you think about the whole like? What do you think is better as far as like disposable wise?
I'm an old school kind of guy. Like I know styrofoam is really bad for the environment. It's just awful. Whatever. But it keeps the heat longer.
Allan, are you serious right now? Monster!
I mean, I'm not for them. I'm not against them. But they definitely keep the heat longer. And I find if I order a poutine and it's in a styrofoam, it can stay in that for a little bit longer. But if I order a poutine and it's in the papery cardboard type stuff, it's all soggy. What's with that? It doesn't breathe.
See, I feel the opposite. I feel with like styrofoam, it almost gets because you get the condensation or like
Yep.
I find that's just gross. I'm like, ugh, I got food sweats on my on my styrofoam.
I'm the one that's supposed to be sweating when I eat this
This
stuff.
one time, whenever it was like friggin' 30+ degrees in town, one time we went to go get some Brits. By the time we like got it back to the apartment, I was eating like soggy fries, pretty much. I didn't like that.
That's what I mean. Like
That's paper, though.
No, was that paper?
Yeah, Brits is paper.
Maybe anything really would just kind of.
I guess yeah. If you're putting a cover over anything, you're gonna get condensation, which is gonna create more of the sogginess.
Even still, though, I think for like one-time use plastics, I don't want to come off as like a tree hugger, and people ask my opinion on it sometimes, and I stand by it, but I always stress I don't want to be like a tree hugger, but I'm all for like getting rid of like one-use plastics.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm not going to disagree with that.
What do you guys think about like as far as party supplies go, like balloons? Because like here's the thing.
The helium's a big waste.
Well, even
You don't get that helium back.
even if you don't have the helium. Okay, say you're not even using helium, you're just blowing the balloons up. I find like what's the point unless you're like because you're only using them once and then you're throwing them out.
I think you'd like deflate them and like put them in the drawer for.
I'm gonna fill up more balloons again.
But
So
some of my best memories growing up, water balloon fights.
Yeah.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I think you can have just as much fun with a.
Water gun.
22.
But then I'm thinking about here, like water gun, you can. I guess you're having more than one use for a water gun.
I don't really like water balloons a whole lot. Someone had this rumor going around about water blisters, and I was like terrified of them.
What's a water blister?
This thing, like, so, I don't know like how it even started, but like some kids were saying if you get hit by like a water balloon too hard, you'll get like water under your skin. Or something like that. And I was
kids
just
say the darndest
petrified.
things.
Well, I was literally petrified, like, I mean, you know?
I remember one time I was running around right young at Poppy's place, and I had my shirt off, and Evan, we got the crappy water balloons, and Evan had a throwing it. He just biffed the thing at me, and it's almost like the water balloon just like wrapped all around me. It didn't pop. And I was pretty young, and I was like, I would never curse in front of mom or dad or anything. And this is a huge family reunion. And I just look at him, tears running down my face. F you, Evan! He's like, I'm sorry, I thought it was going to break.
We smoked Shay in the head one time with one, and it did not explode. It like bounced off, and she had like she got like this one was real little, and then she started to cry, and I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, I know I'm in trouble for this.
Yeah, you just can't get the cheap ones. Did you see now that you just hook your hose up to this thing, and you can have like 50 water balloons within a minute?
It's less than a minute. It's ridiculous.
I hope they break though when you go and throw them.
That was the worst thing. Whenever I was always scared of them blowing up my hand for some reason. I don't know why. When at our place, it was all time. It was all fine. But then that fucking prick Tim, he'd always get the hose out. Once the hose came out, it's like...
Well, that's like the equivalent of in the army going up with a pistol to someone with a machine gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like one of those, and not just a little machine gun, but like one of those ones that you crank and just have the belt.
Yeah.
Mom always hooked us up with some pretty good water guns growing up. We had these ones. They had a little pump in them, and they were battery powered. You didn't have to hand pump them at all. They dominated, man. And we had the ones too where you did have to pump them, but it had two triggers on it, so you could shoot behind you and in front of you. You guys remember them? They were purple.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know those, yeah.
Yeah, like the first trigger, it was in the pump, and you could just, and the one behind you was right. Oh, they were so cool.
There was
There were some awesome water guns growing up, dude.
those pistol ones. They were small, but man, they got a good zing, and they were great because like.
Where you just shoot it and it just okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were so like demoralizing to whoever you got them with. Cause it was just like it wasn't a whole lot of water. It was just a very powerful little spurt.
Yeah.
And if you got someone right in like the ear or something like that, And you're like, I'm going inside. I feel violated.
Well, the thing with the pistols, you aim for the eyes, you aim for the ear. Like anything else.
Well, yeah, it's the best spot to do. But circling back, so you think you'd rather go with styrofoam than paper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Just like me personally, environment put aside, everything else put aside, I would just be happier being handed a styrofoam tray with my dinner, especially if I have a little bit of a drive home.
Well, see, I was finding when we were doing the research for this week's Can of Worms, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be team paper. There's no way styrofoam is any better. I did the research. Styrofoam is actually slightly better than the paper.
To keep its heat or just
For as far as manufacturing and stuff like that and use.
Really?
Yeah, I found that there's quite a few spots in Canada that actually recycle the styrofoam.
Well, it breaks down so easy when you actually use the right stuff. But if you're one of those pieces of shit who just throws it on the side of the road, it's like millions of years.
No,
and that's the big difference.
That's people that go and dump their trash in like the sides of the roads.
But you can't just go after them and like write them off. Like those people are going to be there either way, shape, or form. So you kind of got to account for the asshole effect, I guess.
What a bunch of pricks to just. And this is gonna make me sound like a tree hugger.
I just went on about it for like a minute. So
well, like people like. I think like driving your car and just pitching something out of this out like if you have like a garbage bag in your car full of stuff and you just pitch that out the window, I think that's just absolutely appalling. Like I've had like just garbage in the ditches and all that stuff, or like in the bushes. It looks like it's awful.
Ruins the province.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you throw trash, you are trash.
Well, honestly, I remember one time, young. Excuse me. I was right young. We were at the Wendy's parking lot in Montague, and this guy just had the window down, just throwing everything out of his truck. Just trash, right in the parking lot. Not a care in the world. Never forget that. Like, I'm not going to be one of those people. Yeah. Bryce Cal, actually, he went up to me one time, and he had this big rant about this. Exactly. Like, back in high school, and I remember it. And not a minute later, I had this really dirty rag. It was a snot rag, and I just didn't want it in my car. I was in high school. Bear with me here, and I just threw the thing right in the window.
Wait, but is it tissue or whatever it was?
It was tissue, yeah.
Okay, well that's biodegradable. I just didn't want better still throw it out, but like
yeah,
at least that one like
today I just keep a garbage bag in my car and I'll throw it in there.
Yeah, it's the stuff that just doesn't decompose. That's just like, what the hell are you doing?
But I just felt so stupid because me and him literally talked for like 15 minutes about how like people are just awful for doing that. And here I am, sneeze right at the window. Like
here's my one only argument as far as like going for the team paper or whatever it is that you can start a fire with a cardboard box, whatever it is.
You start a great fire, keep the mosquitoes away too with those paper boxes.
I know they have multiple uses as far as that goes.
Yeah.
Whereas
it's not a good thing, though.
No, it's not, and you're still like, and you're.
But places like the agriculture college that Tim goes to, they burn garbage for heat for their boilers.
Yep. No, I've heard about that.
And I don't know if that's like. It sounds nice or whatever. It sounds great, but is that the best thing to do?
See, I don't think so because you're still
like you're not getting all that energy back by no means.
No,
like maybe what 20% of the energy.
Combustion,
back?
you actually like. There's certain elements that you are gonna lose no matter what.
Absolutely.
Lose, but like certain that you're gonna be run
well,
off.
Even with a boiler, like they're just so hot, and you don't turn off a boiler.
Yeah,
it stays hot all the time.
There's got to be some form of like carbon escape at some point. You gotta wonder where it's gonna be at.
And they probably have filters and stuff too for the flumes or whatever. But I don't know. It just kind of seems like one of those things where it sounds nice on the surface, but there's a reason you don't really see it that often. Well, but at a spot I used to work, they were a wood siding company. And all the little scraps, like if there was any like holes in the wood or any knots in the wood, they just cut that right out usually. Yeah. If it was too big, any of those like little 1 foot pieces, they can't do anything with it. So obviously they had a wood boiler and they would just burn off any old lumber that they couldn't use. That was a great system for that. Yeah, absolutely. Even though majority of their wood was treated and pressure treated and all these other crazy chemicals put into it, that's probably not good for the air. Yeah. No. Like you get a splinter with some of that wood and your hand be sore for like a week.
Well, what is the isn't it the like one of the chemicals that comes off wood is arsenic.
What's that mean?
Oh
wait.
Like,
What's it mean?
what's that? What chemicals do wood?
Chemistry was my weak point in science, so I'm not great with that. I just know that
Someone okay. The main products of combustion are carbon dioxide and water, but also the chemical they release. If these compounds are toxic, they impede the egress occupants from a burning building. I won't say.
So basically, they're just toxic in an enclosed space. Is that what it means?
What's that?
They're toxic if they're burned in a tight space. Is that basically what that means?
Well, I guess you always got carbon monoxide in that shit. But I'm just wondering.
I've always wondered, do like big lighters give off any carbon monoxide?
Yeah, they have to be.
They have
they'd
to.
have to.
Yeah.
They're burning some. Yeah, well, they're burning. Yeah.
Because carbon monoxide, is it?
Well, it doesn't have to be carbon monoxide. It could be just like they're burning some form of carbon or whatever.
Well, it's butane in the lighters, and is carbon monoxide from complete combustion or it's incomplete combustion? That's when carbon monoxide gets involved. And there's no way, like just an open lighter in the air, all that fuel. You can see it. You can see the shadow. Do you ever see the shadow of a lighter? You can. I don't know if it's just the way it just heats up the air and it kind of moves the air around. But have you ever seen that before? Like a lighter in the shadow with the flame on. You can see all those like waves in the air.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I always thought that was just like unburned fuel. But it could be another explanation too.
Well, hear this. There are over 100 hazardous chemicals released from wood burning that can be toxic and carcinogenic. For example, benzene and formaldehyde are two carcinogens released from burning wood. And they also say up here, wood smoke is a major contributor to the air pollution problem in the Denver metropolitan area. Using a non-certified wood stove for 4 hours emits as much carbon monoxide as driving a car 20 miles.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
But I mean, there's the big things. Well, even an oil burning stove, you can get a lot of carbon dioxide off it if it's not set up right.
Yeah.
What about you, Isaac? What do you think? Styrofoam or?
Sorry, I know I keep.
We keep segueing, but it's good. I'm glad
we can't apologize for getting off track.
I think
Rule number 1.
I think styrofoam would be good if they actually recycle it, but I'm sure there's probably a lot that doesn't get recycled.
Well, we don't recycle it here on PEI.
Yeah,
No.
so I'm probably, honestly, I know there's like pulp and everything like that, and that paper mills give off a lot of bad shit.
Yeah, plus they're taking down trees to make the stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's something I never thought of. Styrofoam is just a petroleum base, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's all I really know about it. Like a plastic.
Yeah.
I
just think of how much you're displacing to make that. But anyways, that's a whole different argument.
You know what's one thing about cardboard or paper? You can't make napalm out of those takeout trays. If you take styrofoam, I mean, it's not a good selling point, but if you take styrofoam,
That's a terrible selling point.
and you put it in a jar of gasoline. You ever do that when you were kids?
Oh, yeah.
You put a bunch of it in, it just dissolves,
Yeah.
and then if you light it on fire, it's like napalm, dude.
Fuck,
terrifying.
I didn't know that.
You gonna try it?
Does it explode?
Probably
No,
not.
it doesn't explode. It's just like a jelly, liquidy, burning Play-Doh.
This is why we need people like guests on the show that know more than us. We're gonna end up killing ourselves if we do this kind of shit.
If you had a hose, I could get some gas in my car.
Oh yeah, I got styrofoam.
Do you guys want to do that, actually?
I'm not being part of this.
It'd be good for the channel. Get
We're
lots of traction.
It's an audio subscription. They're gonna have no video.
This will be our first
It'll be
video
just like
podcast.
It'll be just like the other episode where we almost burned the pole barn down.
Fuck! Just instantly like 3 million views.
Yeah.
I think it'd be good.
I mean,
I don't know.
oh yeah, we get the cameras out. Well, we actually did technically record episode 0, but Isaac with his fancy phone, I can't even process the video. It was a 1-hour video. It was 35 gigabytes. I can't do anything with it, dude.
That's crazy.
Well,
amount of data for
60 FPS. I don't even know what the resolution was.
60 first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry your peasant computer can't process premium video.
Oh, it's just crazy. Like I thought my computer was gonna melt when I tried to put it in my video editing software.
Just
It's
hear
like,
the van, just the van, just.
No, it did. It was like a fucking plane, or like a plane taking off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. I don't know. I agree both sides. I can see the styrofoam argument. I can see the paper.
What about the financial side, the business side? What's cheaper? Probably styrofoam.
Styrofoam is cheaper. It's like to ship it and stuff
I was
like
gonna
that.
say
it's
it's probably lighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Easier to make.
You go ahead, Isaac.
No, I want you to. Yeah.
Well, I think.
I didn't hear much about you.
Well, this would probably okay. This is a theory. I don't know if it'd really ever take off, but I think a good thing it'd be if you went there a lot and you were a regular. If you were getting takeout, you'd bring something to get the food in.
Yeah.
It's not good business move though. No one will do it.
Like
I think
bring your own bag kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But bring your own like container.
I'm sure it probably wouldn't. Like they're kind of forced to with the stores now because plastic bags are banned. But
Here, there.
yeah.
Just look at the Nova Scotia.
years
Well-
and years, man.
Well, there was this pot guy I saw on Reddit. We can always go back to Reddit.
That's fine.
And anyways, he had these mason jars, and so he'd give his like most common customers these mason jars, and they just come
For
back
soup?
for you fill them with pot. So then
Oh.
he wouldn't be putting them in bags or anything. He bring your mason jar back, and you do that, and you kind of, reuse it that way.
More environmentally friendly than our own government.
Well, friggin' like, I think that's ridiculous.
It is.
I don't know. I think a lot could be like saved off of like one-use plastics or like because like everyone says it's recyclable and all that shit.
But how much? But how much does it like? How much goes into making those disposable or non-disposable bags?
yeah.
And how much goes into like? For me, whenever I see like these big pushes for environmental consciousness, and this is like huge for me because unlike you, Isaac, I really am a tree hugger.
Yeah.
But I'm a realistic one.
Yeah.
Fuck the trees.
I'm not. I guess I'm not an in-your-face tree hugger.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
kind of like I'm trying to.
Well, I'm in your closet tree hugger. Or in the closet tree hugger. So don't tell anyone.
I always look at like the feasibility of something like that, and that's it. Same thing that goes with any of those types of reusable things. It's how much are they off? Like, there's always a cost, and the cost has to come out of somewhere.
Yeah.
What's the cost of swapping from single-use plastics to these reusable and pretty heavy-made bags? Because there's some of them now you can get like. When I was in Sobeys the other day, they have almost like this box. This box with like a foldable flooring on it.
Yeah.
And it comes in the bag. It's like just a carry-out kind of like basket. And you can buy them for, I think it was like $11, something like that.
Yeah.
They're pretty reasonable, and they're sturdy as heck, and they hold a whole lot of groceries. Like I can, instead of taking, 7 bags of like single-use plastic, I use 3 of those carryouts or 4.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at them and I'm just like, those materials they had to have been used from somewheres, right?
Well, that's the big argument against these electric cars is the nickel in the batteries. Because, nickel mines, it's just strip mining.
Yeah.
Looking for nickel. And they haven't really even met a huge demand yet. Like, the majority of cars still on the road are not electric cars. Like, what do you guys think? 10% of the cars on the road in all North America, or maybe a lot fully. I don't know.
We're still we're still in that
Hybrids,
phase.
I
We got
guess.
lots of hybrids.
I think some people really hate electric cars. Like there was this one video of these, country folk. They had their big Cummins 2500 turbo diesel, all that shit, and they were by a Tesla.
They need it.
No, well what they did, they were just you could tell by the video. Tesla has a bunch of these cameras and shit. So they were there and they keyed the freaking guy's Tesla.
Seen
And they,
that, yeah.
Bumped it with the door and everything like that. But I think In regards to how much pollution, it has to make electric cars, I think it's definitely a step in the right direction because they can't, like, there's no possible way they're just going to make batteries like that and it's just going to be perfect the first time. It's like, I'm sure like they're trying to do a lot of research and learning on how to make them.
Well, it's a lot more complicated than something like plastic bags or anything like that because if all the cars on the road were electric, that would actually be a really great thing, and I'll tell you why. Because then all the different energy sources could start competing with each other. So it could drive the price of oil down. You'd have more jobs out west. It could drive the price, well, I don't think it would drive the price of coal down because we're actually trying to get away from that. But, like, I guess what I'm trying to say.
Not if you're in the States.
Clean coal.
Fuck yeah!
No, but it could drive the price of a lot of different energy sources down. Just all the, what am I trying to say, the power plants that actually, or the substations, not the substations, but all the power plants that actually create the energy, they can all start competing with each other for the best rate. So maybe one week your electric car is not driven by fuel, but maybe powered by gasoline, and then the next week it could be wind power or solar power.
Yeah.
Not directly, but from the power plant.
Well, that goes into like the whole conspiracy theorists and all that kind of stuff, and economics that are saying that like you'd have to have a populace that's willing to make that change and stuff like that, which people are not. And
I get. Well, here at PEI too, it just wouldn't work. I'm sorry.
Not right now. It won't.
Not right now at this point. It just simply wouldn't work. Like all the tourists that just want to come to Surrey for a day.
Yeah.
Electric cars would drive them away because like, well, I have to come there. I have to find a station. Hopefully it's available. I have to charge for 6 hours. Find something to do.
Have you seen those stations? They're wild. They're so small.
Yeah, I'm not going on a rant about that. Nope.
I think it's yeah.
I have
What's
opinions
this
on those
thing?
stations.
Actually, I shouldn't even bring up the election. But one thing,
You can tiptoe around politics. Just don't tell people where you stand.
well,
That's how I feel about it.
I think they're all full of shit. I think all the candidates kind of suck. Honestly, everyone's just everyone's just complaining about everyone else.
Yeah.
Like making big deals about what people did in high school.
There's no one that's really like what you just said earlier. They're all just mudslinging. They're all just talking shit about each other.
So I really don't have any drive to vote for. I still want to vote for someone because it's important to vote, but they all fucking suck.
There are certain people I know I'm not going to vote for.
Yeah.
And there are certain people where I'm kind of on the fence.
We gotta bring back communism.
I think we're working our way towards communism in a sense with this whole what are people talking about, universal income.
Well, with the universal standard income, one thing whenever we were discussing it on the ferry there, one thing I left out is that how they're talking about with the new developments with AI technology and how all these crappy jobs, factory
Took our jobs.
Well, no, really though. They're talking about how
you guys.
well, there's going to be a big, and it's happening already about machines and AI replacing our jobs. So they were talking about let them do all the shitty jobs that that people actually don't want to do, and then for replacements with universal standard income, then they can kind of have that as a backup, so they don't really have to worry as much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you love your job and everything, that's great. But if you're like working in a factory and you're literally doing like machine work, it's like, who wants to do that?
It's such a controversial thing.
Oh, I know.
Because we've never anybody that has a really opinion on it, whether they like it or they don't like it, and I'm not like slamming you or anything, Isaac, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because this is new for the entire human race. Yeah. Like we've never had to deal with this before. It's kind of a crazy thought.
Well,
we're getting to the point where nobody has to work, and that's a really bad thing. That's kind of, on the surface, that's weird, right?
If you want to go into that argument, you can argue that we've that whole entire argument would take out literally everything we already have right now, because domestication of like animals and like the ability to farm and all that, like,
it's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We still have that, but it's just like, and it's just the way it goes. Like you got to kind of.
But providing, no. All right, I'll argue against that because it's always been a trade system, even farming and stuff, because they say farming was the first thing that really brought humans to civilization. You know, that was the first step in the right direction. But I don't think they were just giving the food away. I think it was a barter system. Like, I'll give you 2 chickens if you give me some feed or whatever, you know? Like, we've never had to give people free money because there's nothing for them to do. That's new territory, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but that gets to the point where you got to start re-educating and like putting more money into like industries that will require it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And circling back. That's why our energy system is the way it is. We have a lot of workers in the gas and oil industry.
Yeah.
And that's huge. And you know what?
And they make big bucks.
Yeah, they make big bucks, and that's not a bad thing. That's how like people.
No, and they invest a lot of time to learn how to run an oil rig.
Yeah. But that is also why the electric age will never happen unless, like, I'm saying a very bold comment here because a lot of people will disagree, but like, that is what will never happen is because we have so much invested in it already that why invest again, make that jump and make everything else irrelevant? Like even you guys on the farm, you guys would have to build your entire operation to base yourself on electricity. And I know I should be pushing electricity, but right now, like, we're just not there yet.
I think. Are we gonna? I think it was. I think it's just gonna have to be a very gradual thing. Because all things considered, people talk about replacing fuel like gasoline, oil. I guess just oil.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you really consider it, it hasn't been around for very long.
No.
Well, I mean, that we've like been using a commercial. Like you think of like automobiles, like I mean cars and shit. Like I'd say like it's probably barely been 100 years since cars were a very common thing. You know, like 100 years ago, what would that be? You know, 1919.
Yeah, well, they were.
Like I mean, I think having or even like.
They had cars, if you were going to put them in reverse, they'd stall out and like the engine would slide out. And it'd be like, okay, look where we are now. We got cars that are, we got self-driving cars.
Yeah. But it's really just been like a very short amount of time that we've had.
You didn't know actually until about an hour ago we had self-driving cars. I mentioned it right before the podcast. I'm like, I was going on about something about like, wouldn't it be cool like back like you could just get in your Tesla and it'll drive you home? It's like, what are you talking about?
But that does go into your argument, Allan, saying how like we become too dependent on technology and we like we're not ready for that age yet. We're like and that's the thing, we're getting too comfortable. Like people are gonna lose their ability to do.
But the thing is, it's not the consumers. I don't think. I read somewhere, and I'm on Google here right now trying to find
manufacturers.
Well, it's the manufacturers, but the biggest. They weren't the biggest contributors to climate change. They weren't the biggest contributors to global warming, but they were the biggest contributors to carbon, I think, in the atmosphere. And it was the ships. It was all the inner Atlantic and inner Pacific Ocean. That's the word I was trying to look for. Just the ships that go across the ocean. They're the biggest contributors to carbon in the atmosphere. I'm trying to find someone here on the internet to back me up.
That's fair.
That's like my biggest weapon. Like on the podcast last episode, it's like this idiot on Reddit. He said this.
Well, that's like a new age of society. But I think part of the other argument is too. They were saying it's nice for humans to experience like the one thing that separates us from everything else, and that's like creativity. They're saying if we can really go into this new part of society and we can like let people just do let people be creative, you know what I mean, be artists, be
dreamers or whatever.
Yeah, but not everybody's a dreamer. Not everybody's creative.
There's gonna be something for them though. There's got to be something for everyone with that. In that regard, because not everyone's the same,
but that's
obviously,
a small slice of the population, dude.
Well, I know, but I feel like
good for them, but
it
works out great for them. But
I think it's like I guess it's just kind of I think everyone can though. I think everyone.
No, there's a lot of people in this world. They live to work.
No, I get that, and to that I say let them work, and you know, for like and people like there are people that take pride in their work. You know, you talk about skilled trades, people.
Yeah, the trades wouldn't go anywhere.
Well,
like the skilled trades,
yeah.
like we're still going to need construction workers. We're still going to need all those types of people.
Infrastructure will still be a thing.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
And that's for people.
And those are the type of people that do live to
Yeah.
work. But sorry, going on.
And it's we're as humans we're one. I'd say the main thing that applies to being a human is finding meaning and finding a purpose in life.
Finding your voice, almost, right?
Yeah, yes, something like that. And so, I mean, there are some people out there that go to work and, you know, they build something or they try and invent something, and that's that it gives them it gives them pride. It gives them a lot of satisfaction. And it's just kind of doing that. And then you have other people that they have the same bug, but it could be you know, with music, it could be with guitar, inventing new music, or it could be
Research even.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Anything.
Because that's I know where you're going with this, and like there's everyone needs their niche that they're into, and
yeah. And where we're at now, there's a lot of people with heart disease, high stress. They're talking, I don't know what the percentage was, but a very high percentage of people after graduating college and university, and they go into a job, and after I think it's around 6 to 8 months, and they just, it doesn't really spark with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I can vouch for that myself, because like, I know a lot of people that were going to university while I was doing my 2-year section of my my studies, and a lot of them, I'd say the biggest problem with many is that like they go to school for 4 years and they're told basically it's not really anyone's fault. That they're given this impression that these 4 years are supposed to simulate work experience.
Yeah.
And then they get out and they have difficulty finding jobs because, well, if they're straight out of high school, and that's even if they make it through those 4 years. Some of them just don't, it's too much for them to handle, which again can also be the fact. I remember my first year of university, there was one student that killed himself because he was international student that didn't have a whole lot going for him at the time, or he didn't feel like it had a whole lot going for him at the time, and he was away, and it was just a whole lot of pressure. But like, it's like you said, these individuals, they like the ones that make it through the 4 years and don't have the work experience, but they have the education.
Yeah.
It's hard for them to make that leap to find what they want and do it because they just don't have the prior experience, I guess.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And the motive, I don't know. I just left for a minute. I don't know if you guys talked about motivation at all. Like it'd be hard to have the motivation to really, you know, honestly, just get off your ass and go to college and find something you're passionate about and make your money if you can make $500 or $600 a week anyways. Yeah. But I guess there'd be a lot of little things like that have to be figured out. I guess I don't know. I don't know if we're still talking about the same thing, but that's just my 2 cents.
I think we diverted a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
No, back to the styrofoam and paper.
We're not going back there.
So how did you open the bottle? I still don't know.
Yeah, no. There'll have to be a demonstration of some form.
I'm not recording it. I'll tell you that.
Episode, yeah. I mean,
Because I'm still nervous.
I'll be very discreet. Maybe
Should I drink some KY or?
Some what?
Oh, jeez, no.
What's KY?
KY jelly is like a lubricant.
Oh, fuck. Well, that's the thing. You can't have any type of lubricant. It has to grab.
I don't know, man. You're the expert.
Maybe I could just cut a hole in my pants and you guys wouldn't have to see the whole shit.
So, is it a pop top or a twist off?
Twist off.
Thank God.
I don't know if a pop off.
I was gonna say you must do squats or something.
Oh, I was expecting this to be a pop up. I was like, that's good. Isaac shows up. I got a sweet new party trick I want to show you guys.
My glutes, man. My glutes are like the Rock.
Yeah, no, holy shit. You? No, was it you? You shit? No? Okay.
Well, we'll find out.
Yeah. So anyways, I think that concludes our can of worms for the week.
So who won?
No. There's no. I don't think there's any winner. I
I
think
won.
we just came to. What's that?
I won.
You-
Styrofoam.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, one last thing before we wrap up.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our last segment, which is tight lines. It's a brief one. It's basically what's coming up what's coming up as far as events that you guys are looking forward to.
What? That's a okay. Okay. Do you have anything in mind?
Me?
Yeah.
I have a few. They have Ben's campground or Ben's Lake Campground has this thing called
Your campground.
Shake the Lake.
Where's Ben's campground?
It's down in oh fuck, 1 minute.
Sorry, no, go on. It's on the island anyway.
It's on the island. They have a music festival in the summer.
Oh yeah, okay.
And they're doing this is Ben's Shake the Lake 1.5. They got like Vince the Messenger, and like who plays with like
Like what, Walker?
Yeah.
Slime?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah, so he's gonna be playing there, and
Yeah,
so,
he does the chorus for motocross, maybe? I don't know.
He does. Well, yeah, I know he does a lot of shows, and anyway, he's gonna be there. So are a bunch of other really cool like other bands that like not a lot of people know. Anyways, Ben's Lake is apparently on Murray Harbor Road, so that's the thing. The other thing I'm looking forward to is there is going to be this like Sum 41 and the Offspring are doing a tour, and they're going through the Maritimes.
Fuck off, really?
Yeah, man. They're coming to Moncton and Halifax.
Oh my god.
Oh, wait. Is this like right before Halloween?
It's in November.
Ah, that sounds awesome.
I know.
I'd go see Sum 41.
And the Offspring's freaking awesome. Too.
Yeah. It would be so cool to like do a road trip there.
We got that and Ray Green to go to. I'd love to go to.
Yeah, I think
You guys are really green.
I think we should, Isaac. We didn't get tickets yet, but we're gonna be in Halifax. I think we're gonna be in Halifax that weekend anyway.
How much are the tickets anyways? Like,
I mean, they wouldn't be more than $30. You don't imagine.
Yeah.
I
So
mean, it's not that great.
that'd just be quite a thing to see. Red, green. Quite a thing. Like Canadian icon and all of that.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Do you think he'd sign my shirt? You know,
your waffle shirt.
my waffle shirt.
That's gonna be your new nickname, Waffles Robertson.
I mean, once you start arguing against a nickname, you got it for life. So I'm just gonna shut my mouth.
Yeah, I know that. And did you know you guys knew Obama's coming to Halifax, eh?
Oh really?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I got tickets I got a ticket for it. I'm trying to sell, but like, so I want to go to. It's the same night as the Offspring are playing in Moncton and somewhere.
really?
So Dad, I said that. Dad was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be this much amount." And I'm just like, for the ticket. I'm just like, "Okay, sounds good. I think I'm gonna sell it." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "You purposely bought like a higher tier ticket." I'm just like, "Yeah, but that was before I knew Sum 41 and the Offspring were touring together in the Maritimes."
How much was the Obama ticket?
It was like $200. Yeah.
See that fucking idiot?
What's he gonna say anyway? Nothing to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's well, the thing is like there's even higher tier tickets for special guests that can actually meet Obama. I'm just like, I don't even want to know what those would cost.
Oh, they'd be in the thousands.
Yeah, they'd be something high up.
Who's the one making money off that? Like Obama's probably rich. Do you think?
Oh, he'd have to be.
Like $1,000 is not bad.
Obama. What about you guys?
I'm looking forward to Halloween.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, me too.
You know, the weather's starting to get cool. I think we're gonna go over to Halifax that weekend and.
Thanksgiving will be fun. Tim will be back.
Oh yeah.
Well, whatever.
Speaking of thanks, what you can keep going with
What are you thankful for?
No, I was just talking shit to Tim. No, you go ahead, Isaac.
Well, we were thinking of this pre-depression era style barn party.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, we're all gonna like kind of dress up. We're gonna get the plaid and everything. And we're gonna get those like hipster like Edison bulbs with like the strands and do them up in the pole barn. And we get like those like hats.
Yeah,
and
okay.
stuff. And
What hats?
Like the ones off Peaky Blinders?
Something like that. Yeah, I think that would be great. And we were just gonna play like the band and John Prine, a bunch of stuff, and just have a good And we'll probably get into like Pitbull or something like that.
Yeah!
Half an hour into it or something. But,
All right, depression's over, and then jack it up with Mission Worldwide. Mission Worldwide. Oh man, that's great.
Red one.
I remember when I first heard a Pitbull song. I was in like grade 5, and it was like, "We got the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn," and I was like, "I know, I've been there before.
I've
was
been
at the
there before.
Holiday Inn.
I can relate to
I am
this.
Pitbull."
I'm a Pitbull.
No, I swear to God, I literally have the earbuds in my ear playing off an MP3 player. I think I just said it out loud, like, "I've been there."
Yeah.
One
no,
person, and I know who it is. She just looks over at me like I had 3 horns.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm looking forward to very much. So those are our tight lines for the week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, what do you think? You want to wrap this up? Going
Yeah.
on an hour and some minutes now.
Yeah, there'll be some stuff we're cutting out of this too, which will bring it down.
No.
I say raw, unedited, just check it right on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
There's actually a live feed.
I don't know if we said much that we should have edited out. I mean,
I'll let you guys know if I do.
There was a good stretch there where we went off of it.
I think the politics segment was particularly funny. I don't think we sound like hate speech.
We'll revise
I
it
think we did all
anyway.
of that, yeah.
We might have to get you to ad lib some stuff.
Alan's just gonna like hand it back, and it's gonna be like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I hope the audio quality was a lot better this time.
Yeah. Same here.
I have a good feeling about it. We still have the same setup, but we revised it a little bit.
So from myself, Isaac, and Waffles Robertson over here. No, you can keep going. I just
Butter me up and put some syrup on me then.
Sweet H, mama.
You folks want some pancakes?
Oh Jesus. We're going to cut this.
You can't say that. All right, let's wrap this shit.
Oh, yeah.
All right, see you later, everybody.